Okay, just give it a couple minutes for a couple people to jump in here. Make sure we've got a few people in, and then we'll get right to it. Okay, so I wanted to jump on today. I haven't made a video in probably a couple weeks now. I had a lot going on in my life here, but I wanted to come on here and just kind of throw some thoughts out there, kind of tell you a little bit about what I've been absorbing out there and what I'm seeing and kind of where I think this is going, give you a slightly different perspective. I'm pretty deep down a lot of rabbit holes right now. And so I'm just going to kind of do a quick little compilation here before we get into a couple other things. So yeah, I've been taking a lot of time to look at this thing, look at what's going on, look at the whole, geopolitical, exopolitical situation, all the current events, everything that we see happening in our world right now from an awakened perspective. And I'll talk a little bit about it. So a couple areas that I've been focused on in the last 3 weeks to a month, we'll say. Obviously, the whole bio situation, the stuff going on right now with our favorite doctor here on the screen, and all the strange oddities going on with that. Right, we've got countries going back into the lockdowns. We have continuous back and forth in the courts, as you guys probably heard just recently. As of 1 or 2 days ago, here, just a couple days ago, they found a way to finagle those OSHA requirements back in. So we'll see how that plays out. I kind of feel like that's going to go back and forth a little bit. Hopefully, by now, if you're watching this channel, you probably are aware of the situation. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the channel, and I have to be extremely careful. Oh, actually, I did make a video about it, but if you haven't checked out Dr. Nowak, Noack, and that situation with the razors that may be nano and all that, and the graphene stuff, I mean, that's about as hot as it gets right there. Right now, I haven't seen anything in my purview that's topped the shock value of that situation. I mean, of course, there's this, it really looks like this stuff works these nano chips work together in some sort of a unified fashion to create a single interface. So like think of it, if you're an IT guy, like you've got thousands and millions of little mini computers that are kind of like virtualizing all into one interface type of thing. I mean, I think that's, from what I understand, that's technically possible with this stuff. And so, the boosts are like updates, and they're adding more computing power, right? Getting more of that stuff in your body. You got the little razors chopping up, moving things around faster. And obviously, like we're seeing now with these athletes, situations there. So, the faster the blood flows, the more damage it can potentially do, right? So, okay, so with this whole situation, how much longer can this go on for, right? We have senators and Congress people, or I believe mostly senators, talking about many aspects of the harmful effects of this injection now openly on the Senate floor. All kinds of troubling information keeps coming out about our favorite doctor here on the screen. It just doesn't seem to faze them. They seem to be accelerating, doubling down, tripling down on everything that they're saying and doing, and acting as if none of these other doctors exist, none of these other studies exist, none of these protests exist, right? So it's pretty frustrating to watch that. It's got to be, if you're awakened to the situation and you see what's going on, to watch that. So obviously, I feel the same as I'm sure a lot of other people do. We just want to stop. We want to stop the damage. Now, I do believe that the damage is going to get a lot worse. I think that the long-term prognosis for these people is going to be very bad over the next 2 to 3 years. I don't know if you can detox that stuff. It's just it's a crazy situation. It's a huge part of, I think, a lot of people in this community's day right now is just keeping up with all that stuff and how it affects us in our daily lives. This Omicron thing is gone from 0 to 100 real quick. I mean, it doesn't seem that harmful, but it's 2-3 weeks ago it was a whisper in Africa. Now it's in every country already. They already have a test for it. I mean, it just, the nonsense never ends with these people. So as that plays out, we've got a lot of other things happening here. As I've said from the beginning, and many others have, the COVID stuff is very closely tied with this economic system. So if you start to watch stuff like the interbank lending, what was that called? The repo market, right? Every time the repo market ramps up, you can pretty much guarantee we're going into some sort of a lockdown scenario. The repo market's been bouncing around lately, just like it did in March 2020, just like it did, throughout periods of this year. So expect that to continue, right? The only safety mechanism they have now is to shut down the economy when it gets too overheated, because it just doesn't function properly anymore. We're so indebted, they can't raise the interest rates now. So the banking cabal is in a very tough spot right now. They're projecting strength, but in reality, they're getting weaker and weaker. I do believe they are getting weaker and weaker. How many people have heard about? I've been keeping an eye on what Dr. Sal has been talking about, what's going on in Antarctica. They've talked about this off-planet stuff. So I do think that's going on. I do think that's real. So I think we're in a scenario right now where we have to just survive. And in America, I think we have a much better chance than other places because we do have means to protect ourselves here. We do have a little bit better landscape for legal. We're not in as bad of a position as some other countries are, like Germany, Austria, Australia, and others like Canada. And so we have it a little bit easier here, although we have more direct attacks against us than other places. Like we're actually under, like the citizens of this country are actually under attack in more ways than some of those other countries. But we overall have a pretty good shot here if we're aware of what's going on. Now, if you're in another country like Australia or some of these other places where they're getting really heavy-handed with the mandates really quick here, that's a scenario like you face some serious trouble there. It's smaller countries, very totalitarian style government going on now. So those countries are might be a little bit more challenging. So I hope I don't know what the solution is, but I mean, I do see people standing up and protesting, and you can go look at a lot of these Telegram channels and a lot of these alternative media sites. You can see that people are protesting. They're not taking it, sitting down. And my prayers and energy, positive energy goes towards you guys that are fighting this war. So a lot of you have a lot harder than we do. And so my heart goes out to you. And we just have to survive this, because on the other side of this tribulation, I do believe we're going to have, there's going to be a big reward for making it through this in one piece. And it could be, a better economic system, a fair economic system, advanced technologies that will help us to obtain balance and peaceful exploration of other places, other civilizations, perhaps. And so there's a lot of good stuff that on the other side of this war that we're in, that we find ourselves in right now. It's just, we have to get through the next couple of years. The weather warfare is really kicking up, like we saw down south in the United States here a few weeks ago in Kentucky and those areas. I mean, that was, we're seeing targeted weather warfare. There's some crazy stuff going on in British Columbia. There's been rumors of war, rumors of radioactive materials out in the open there. some people are saying. Also in Canada, you're hearing a lot about babies being born that are stillbirths up there in certain places too. So that could be, I'm not sure if that was near the British Columbia area, but I can think of a couple of reasons why that might be happening right now. One of them might go into your arm perhaps. So crazy stuff. And so another thing, on the positive side, I hope you're stacking metals. I hope you're still into that. I mean, you can see it's being pushed down right now. There's been a lot of negative pressure on that. There's been pressure on cryptos. Been hearing a lot about these. Everybody's talking about the ISO 20022 standard, which is like XRP and your Stellar, Lumens, and a few others. Everybody's saying that all the alternative media based pretty much, and some of the psychics, some of these spiritual people are even saying that this is going to be the basis of the new system. Now, whether or not that's the system we want to go into or that's the Great Reset system, I'm not really sure at this point, but I will say that I think holding some XRP is probably a good move, and some, which is hard to get in the United States actually, as well as some Stellar, which I've held for a long time. And obviously, the big ones like your Bitcoins and Ethers, if the way it's shaping up, I'm sure some will fall and some will rise meteorically when this all hits the fan. And so, having a good diverse portfolio of crypto is a strong move right now. There's plenty of good ones out there. I like Theta. That's my underdog Theta. So there's good stuff out there. I mean, there's these rumors about not Doge, Shiba. I got a little bit of that, like doing some sort of a token burn. I wouldn't get too big into that at this point, but got a little bit of that. So having things like that, and the more time goes on and the more I see the supply chain kind of erode, just everyday household things like light bulbs and lighters and simple water filtration, like anything that will help you get through like say you had to go through a 6-month period of off-grid style living, what would be the things that you would stock up on, other than obviously food and water, right? Which depends on your scenario, how easy your access is to that stuff. But things like things that are going to help you stay alive, not just eat and drink, right? There's other factors at hand, like keeping warm, protecting yourself from threats of any sort, whether it's a wild animal or a hungry, desperate person that tries to attack your encampment, right? So whatever it may be, things like that, basic everyday necessities will have value as we go through this tribulation. So I personally don't think it's going to get too bad for everybody, but it's very possible some parts of the world could have 3 to 6 months of SHTF. Yeah. So, it's very possible we could go through something like that. The other day, was it like 10 countries got together to simulate a cyber attack? That sounded like, I mean, I believe it involved the World Economic Forum and all this stuff. I mean, come on. If that's not a clue, that's like the same thing that they did for event, it was like event 201, the financial version that just happened. So, they may crash this thing and say, oh yeah, that was an attack. It was a hack. And then, we're going to be going for the next 3 years. This truther community is going to be breaking that down and finding all this stuff out. But look, if that does happen, if they seize up everything, what was that show that was on HBO or the show with the hackers that did that to Evil Corp? I can't think of a name right now. That scenario occurs, we're still going to have to make it through that scenario. And a lot of people think that's when the silver kicks in or the cryptos. I mean, it's just uncertain. Like there's probably a lot of things are true, but in what order they happen in and at what time frame. I mean, it could be that those coins go to Bitcoin goes to 1 million and then to 0 3 months later, and nobody cashes out. I mean, it's definitely an unpredictable scenario, and I do believe that only a very few people know how this is going to happen. So I know I'm kind of bouncing around a lot of different topics here, but I want everybody to be prepared and just realize that we are going to see brighter, happier days. We're not going to be constantly under psychological warfare forever and ever. This will not continue, but we are under very intense psychological warfare right now. And, these intelligence agencies had, practiced this all around the world. They have, learned how to subvert populations. And now all those things that they've learned with our tax dollars, invading other nations, has now been turned against us. So the West is facing its own psychological warfare. Go and check that out. It's pretty shocking when you start to see how all this stuff seeped in after World War II, and all these techniques that the Nazis were using became part of the mindset of Western intelligence agencies, and now is being deployed actively against the populations now, right? So I'm gonna roll through my Telegram feed a little bit. By the way, TR3B News is how to join along, and love to have you on there. I think I throw up some stuff that's pretty interesting. I try to add my own perspective to it. So, like I mentioned before, if you haven't checked out Dr. Sala yet and what's going on in Antarctica, the situation here, I think he's really got his finger on the pulse. I really do. I think 10, years from now, people are going to be looking at these old videos he made like, man, I can't believe all this information was here. And, it's pretty obvious to anybody who's been paying attention that this Antarctica is something practically otherworldly, right? There's talk of portals, access to inner Earth, Rothschild Island, New Schwabenland, the whole, the bases under the ice, the volcanoes, the pyramids that have been seen there. It's a huge landmass. It's bigger than, I believe, it's nearly the size of North America or something. It's huge. So really good videos. It ties in a lot of, what I like about Dr. Sala, he's so well versed, and he's tying in like, people like Elena Danaan and things that Alex Collier said, and like pulling from all these different sources to come up with this synopsis, and current whistleblowers, past whistleblowers. It's just a really cool. I really think he's got his finger on the pulse. He just recently moved to Tennessee to get away from the People's Republic of Hawaii, which used to be a great place. I used to go there a lot, but so yeah, definitely something to check out. I threw this up. Good tidings to we wish you a Merry Christmas. There was like, good crickets we bring to you and your pod. You gotta laugh at these people. Now they say, of course, rumor mill has it that this guy was captured in Antarctica. Who knows? Who the hell knows? But interesting. So yeah, you guys have probably heard about this, proofs that there are toxic batches. So you guys saw that there was only, like, Stu Peters had it boiled down in America, in the United States, that it was down to like a couple batches that caused most of the immediate deaths, right? And I'd be shocked if they weren't in red areas. But then you had this Slovenian nurse come out and say that there was a 1, 2, and a 3 system. Like 1 is saline, 2 is mRNA, 3 is death, right? Or soon to be, or cancer, whatever. So now I haven't watched this video in full yet, but I understand that they're saying that there's like all this collusion going on even between the different vax makers, and they're like, timing things, and it's like, it's even more sinister than we thought. It's like, how many times can I say that? It's even more sinister than we thought. So, here's some stuff they're trying to, like, look at what they're trying to do in New York. Okay, these are all assembly, legislative sessions, forcing this, forcing that, forcing this, eliminating exemptions. I mean, they're going like that. People thought that Como was bad out there, man. That's Hochul is like spawn of Satan, straight up. Even worse. It's like, you guys thought how is this a victory if we, like, one corrupt guy gets pushed out and we get somebody worse, or like supposedly, this person gets eliminated and is now a clone, but the clone is more evil, right? None of this is adding up. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Just all over the world, man. All over the world, this is happening. And I mean, happening to some of the healthiest, strongest people. And I go back to Dr. Nowak and I say, Like you said, these people are moving fast. Their blood is flowing quickly, and they've got all this metal circulating and it's chopping everything up. And this is the end result. And this is gonna get worse. And I wouldn't be surprised. Another thing I've said out loud, and I'll say this again, is that these, in the US professional sports, they have like the COVID reserve, whatever, right? For football and all that stuff. I would be shocked if there wasn't some of those people that were going on there for injuries that they have, not for testing positive. And they're just trying to, just run the narrative along as long as they can, because a lot of these professional sports team owners are totally in on this whole thing. They're billionaires. They're, tied in with all this stuff. So they're, negative, occult, elite, ruling class type people. So they're going to go along with it. These football clubs over, in other countries are going to go along with it, even if they know it's wrong. So this is just a meme, but I thought it had some truth to it. We got to not put up with this stuff. Now this is starting to reach the mainstream, shockingly. Let's see if it makes a difference. But this is the English Daily Mail, which is like, of all the papers out there in England, this one seems to go the farthest. This is stuff that came out of Japan the other day. Look at this. Mortality risk is 7 times higher. Now, the information like this has been coming out. The FDA said this. It didn't make a goddamn difference in the world, did it? And okay, so here's some of the leaked Pfizer stuff, right? So you got, this is the stuff they wanted to, this is just a smidgen of what they were trying to keep us from knowing for 75 years or 55 years, right? Just a smidge. So that's not good. Everybody's pretty much aware of this now. Got to give it up for DeSantis. How's it possible for one man to be this based, right? And you got these people coming out of the woodwork. Look at this. My position is we must make the lives of the a total misery and just keep escalating the exclusions until we crush the resistance and break their spirit in order to force compliance. So just remember, guys, at no time in history have people that spoke like this and done these types of things, they've never been the good guys. They never will be the good guys. They're not the good guys. And there's part 1 of that same video. Definitely check those 2 out. That was probably this is very, I know it's a dark time and there's a lot of stuff going on, but if you want some high level, positivity and something to be happy and excited about, I do believe there's something bigger going on. And it doesn't mean, look, we're not waiting to be saved. We're not, innocent bystanders here. We have to fight. Our job. So like, as a light worker is, I'm going to tell you what our job is, and I hope you can stick around to the end of this video because I want to talk about something. We have to raise the vibration here. We have to do the group meditation. So I'm going to be doing this group meditation coming up on December 21st on the solstice in 2 days, which is going to be, it's like the global meditation. It's through, 2012 portal, who I think, Cobra was one of the first people I kind of encountered when I was doing this thing about 6 or 7 years ago. And that group is definitely going in the right direction. And I think I've done several of the global meditations. I'm definitely going to be doing this one. It's going to be at 11 o'clock Eastern. We'll check it out in a minute, but that's the kind of stuff we do, right? We do good daily deeds. We wake people up, and then we do these little meditations, these, esoteric things that maybe not everybody does, but that's a huge thing. Okay. Yeah. So I watched this video, Gene G Code. Again, good information. This guy really, does have information about what's going on in the DUMBs and all that fun stuff. This is just the thing about theta. This guy came out a few days ago. Robert Malone came out, just, laid it on the line. And this guy's, under attack. He's saying, don't do this for your children. Don't let your children take this. Begging you, basically, right? This guy helped create that stuff. And he's telling you, begging you not to do it. Okay. Now, luckily, I haven't had to worry too much about this, but I actually do a lot of these things just to be healthy, like NAC, vitamin D, pine needle tea. I've been drinking a hell of a lot of that, heck of a lot of pine needle tea, quercetin, vitamin C. So like we pretty much just need to be on a constant heavy metals detox anyway right now. There's some other stuff like I like C60. It's worked out good for me. So just get those heavy metals out of your body. It's good for a lot of reasons. Even if you didn't get injected, it's just good to do. It's good to not, you don't need that stuff in your body. I thought this was clever. So this is something that I think even normies can get. Right. So if you want to grab that off my TR3B. Okay. So just more, anti stuff here, Japan, what they're doing, Jair Bolsonaro, at least this is one guy that seems to be standing up to it. I mean, thank God at least somebody is, right? And here's the kind of stuff we have to look forward to, guys. Like, this is the kind of stuff, like, we have this technology. We can do amazing things. We have it. It's been weaponized and it's been in control of, anti-human type forces that are totally sold out to non-terrestrials and negative off-world entities. So once we're free of that, which it seems like at a high level, like, yeah, I'm not saying that, us on the ground here have to be responsible for, all those types of situations going on. They're going to help us with that, but we've got work to do here. They've got work to do there, and there's work to be done underground too. So as we're here on the surface, what we need to do is, hold the space, hold the vibration here, right? And then we'll get to this stuff. It's going to come. Luciferase, this bioluminescent stuff. Who has taken a hand of the jab and put it under a black light? Check that out if you haven't done that. So this is something you guys got to see. I might even play this. Okay, so you guys know Tyler, Secure Team. Did you guys see his new trailer? You're gonna like it. Check it out.
While it's been widely discussed that UFOs are of an alien nature, we are starting to realize that many of these may also be man-made.
The stuff I was working on wasn't classified. The programs that we're monitoring were
Unconventional and unacknowledged activities in science that are not supposed to exist.
It accelerated at about a 30-degree angle of attack and left them in the dust. I mean, 8 to 10,000 miles an hour.
They looked like butterflies that were on fire. Well, when I played the footage back, there was a TR-3B sitting there cloaked above that ship the entire time.
Why is it that if these are solid triangular craft, are we able to sometimes see stars through them? You're going to have a militarization of space, like an arms race in space, and that's going to require a significant classified component. That is a secret space program.
We're dealing with something very close to alien technology, engineered down to the atomic level.
Something really odd is going on out there.
All right, so tell me that doesn't look pretty cool, right? Okay, so did you guys see this? The UK stockpiling mid-azo lamb, which is apparently like a lethal injection end-of-life care medicine in preparation for COVID-19. And then from mid-January onward, right? Delivery by January 3. What's up with that? Here we go. This is another one you got to keep an eye on, right? In the Waterloo area, and this is a heavily jabbed area from what I hear. Stillbirths on top of stillbirths on top of stillbirths on top of stillbirths. So something really messed up going on there. Did you guys see this? They just like to put it in our face, like they say. This was a good one too. Right? And of course, you probably heard about that. They can be owned. Do you think that's going to work ultimately? No. So that's a little bit about what I've been studying. Obviously, you guys probably heard about this. Pilots, just one pilot in 2019 died, 6 pilots in 2020, and I think we're over 100 so far this year. So something ain't right there. More articles about hydroxide and oxide stuff. And then we got this lovely lady. This looks like, is this even a human being? It looks like a reptilian thinly masquerading as a human, saying that we need to do away with the Nuremberg code, right? I mean, look at these people. I mean, can you believe that we're already back to this and how fast we got there? I mean, look at this. Does this look like actual human or a soulless vril reptilian? I think I can't see how this is an actual human of Earth. Oh, and look at this. Up to 300,000 people facing heart-related illnesses due to post-pandemic stress disorder. It's not what you're injecting. It's post-pandemic stress disorder and climate change. You've been diagnosed with climate change, sir.
Breaking new details on the deaths of a high school soccer player.
Finland, Denmark's star man Christian Eriksen collapsing towards the end of the first half.
The Kennedy High community mourning tonight after one of their high school football players died.
A South Carolina high school football player has died.
I could play these videos forever, on and on and on and on. So I could ramble about this all day, but I'm not going to make this video too long today. I'm just going to show you one more thing, and I'll let you get on with your day. I gotta look it up real quick. So do me a favor, guys. We're gonna have a little meditation here on December 21st. Okay, 4 p.m. UTC. I believe it's 11 a.m. Let's see. Should have a thing here. So we're looking for critical mass. We need as many people as we can to do this meditation at the same time on December 21st on the solstice at, I believe, let's see here just to be sure. Here it is. Okay. So 10 a.m. if you're in Chicago, 11 a.m. in New York, 9 a.m. if you're in Denver, 8 a.m. if you're in LA, 6 a.m. in Honolulu, or anywhere else in the world for that matter. It doesn't matter. We all got to do this at the same time. We all got to do this the same way. Okay. Let's send a lot of energy out there to the warriors that are fighting for the freedom of Earth, for whatever they have us do in this meditation. It will be what's needed. And that's really truly how we fight back, other than, what we're doing right now, discussing these things and, bringing these things to people's attention. Whatever else that we're doing right now. Let me just stop the share here. This is the kind of stuff that actually makes a difference. Group mass meditations really do help. We really can't affect the outcome. We really can't affect the timeline. So I urge you, if you have time, I know it's, kind of like the work day or whatever, but look, it's a slow week next week. You can get a little bit of time off. Maybe you can, if you're in an office building or something, shut everything down. And if you're working from home, you can, take a half an hour, 40 minutes to do this meditation to strengthen, to bring light, bring in the light, and we'll get there. We'll get out of the tribulation. We'll get into the Renaissance, and then we'll go to this higher frequency that's coming in. I mean, I can tell you one thing for sure, and I mean this wholeheartedly, is I can feel that 5D energy coming into this planet. I can feel the intelligence of, all these beings that are here helping us, all these positive forces that are here. They just operate differently than the ones that we're seeing in our daily lives right now, like these demonic creatures that we're seeing on TV and whatnot. So they have a different way of operating. They're not as physical. But they're here, and if we embrace that, we're going to get to where we want to be sooner. So that's my 2 cents on that. We got a couple people in the room right now. Shout outs, Stephanie, Octavia. I got a Russian name here, not sure, but that's about all I wanted to say today. So check out that meditation, keeping the high vibes. Make it through this tribulation period, and we're going to go to the best is yet to come. The best days are ahead of us, and we're going to get there. All right, guys. Peace and love. Namaste. And I'll see you all very soon.